Hey gang, I've kept quiet on a lot of the Republican bullshittery going on at the moment because with the primaries still going on, I was wary of commenting on something that might not even be an issue for long. However, there is a really disturbing trend that I have to say something about, and that's the grand old Tea Party's sudden fascination with destroying women's rights. By now, we all know about Rush Limbaugh slandering a university student who testified in support of insured birth control pills, and I previously commented on how Rick Santorum has talked many times about making contraception and abortion 100% illegal. But this is really just the tip of the iceberg. Various Republican-controlled states are trying to pass the most invasive and ridiculous laws against preventing or ending pregnancies, if they haven't already. One of the more infamous examples is in the great state of Texas, where former presidential candidate Rick Perry has declared that any woman wanting to get an abortion has to not only get a medically unwarranted ultrasound, but has to literally be raped with a probe in order to do it. Ironically, one of many other states doing this happens to be Virginia, the birthplace of the so-called Free Nation. In Pennsylvania, the same state that kicked Santorum out of the Senate, I might add, the governor shrugs off his own government's ultrasound of shame law by saying that women who don't like it can just close their eyes. By the way, that's not only offensive as hell, but begs the question of what kind of conservative creates extremely wasteful laws that can be thwarted by a simple reflex action. Remember this the next time that you hear the right-wing complain about wasteful spending, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Also, the state of Arizona, the same state that wanted to force immigrants to carry papers at all times, and that largely turned a blind eye to teabaggers shooting children of Latinos and Democrats, has passed a law making it totally legal for an employer to fire you if you're a woman using birth control pills to prevent pregnancy. Now, the Republicans being against birth control and abortion is nothing new, even if it never made much sense, but this is something worse. This party, which called Obama and his fans Nazis for wanting to bring in public health care and supposedly violating the rights of Americans, doesn't even bat an eye at shaming, oppressing, and even assaulting women who want the same control over their bodies that men have. These policies are so repressive and outdated that they've been compared to barbaric reproductive laws in Romania during the Cold War. This campaign, driven into a frenzy during an election year, of course, is more than just a war on women. Frankly, this is as close as the far right can get to flat-out exterminating women. The Tea Party Republicans are taking their so-called pro-life beliefs a lot further than simply ending abortions. The same people who get in an uproar about big government telling them that they can't force their beliefs on people have no problem at all with telling strangers that they're not allowed to buy the pill, not allowed to buy condoms, not allowed to have sex outside of marriage, or even allowed to masturbate. The same people who claim to be the only real freedom lovers in America are brutally punishing women who have the nerve to exercise their rights, while having the nerve themselves to claim that they aren't in any way sexist. And don't forget that this is the same party that refused to even let women testify before the Senate on changes to the right to control their own bodies. Why? Because the Republicans declared, and I quote, that it is a moral issue. This is what I find fucking disgusting about today's hardcore conservatives. The same people who constantly accuse moderates and liberals of supporting the Taliban just because we don't want to invade the Middle East, or we don't want Christianity shoved down our throats, or because we want to actually feed the fucking poor once in a while, are honestly talking like ayatollahs. Even when Rush Limbaugh lost 100 of his sponsors for his misogynistic remarks, the Republicans still do this. Even when every poll in America says that they're as popular as catching rabies from a horny armadillo, they still do this. Even when Fox News and Ann Coulter, for crying out loud, say that they're going too far, they still do this. So they're either really stupid or they're just criminally insane. And considering that they're getting more hateful and unhinged all the time, I personally vote for the latter. America, for the love of God, please vote all these Republican maniacs out of office in November, or before very long they're going to make women, and I mean all women, dress like this. Enough said.